Good afternoon. This is Becky, and I just wanted to welcome you to my patio. I wanted to talk to you today about how we affect one another, whether we realize it or not. And I wanted to talk to you about faith and how Christ said in the Bible, in Luke 17, verses 5 and 6, the apostle said to the Lord, "Increase our faith." So the Lord said, "If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can say to this mulberry tree, 'Be pulled up from the roots and be planted in the sea,' and it would obey you." And in Matthew 13, 31 and 32, Christ said, "The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all the seeds, but when it is grown, it is greater than the herbs and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and nest in its branches." Like a mustard seed is an herb, but Christ is saying that it can grow up into a tree given enough time. And I also wanted to, this is what I wanted to point out to you in Mark 5, 25 and 30 through 34. Now, a certain woman had a flow of blood for 12 years and had suffered many things from many physicians. She had spent all that she had and was no better, but rather grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came behind him in the crowd and touched his garment. For she had said, "If only I may touch his clothes, I shall be made well." Immediately the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of the affliction. And Jesus, immediately knowing in himself that power had gone out of him, turned around in the crowd and said, "Who touched my clothes?" But his disciples said to him, "You see the multitude thronging you, and you say, 'Who touched me?'" And he looked around to see her who had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell before him and told him the whole truth. And he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your affliction." Okay, just from that story of this woman having faith that if she touched the hem of his garment, she would be made well. I just want to show you, I'm not sure if you ever noticed this before, but the consequences of that one act of faith. In Mark 6:53, over here, it says, "When they had crossed over, they came to the land of Gennesaret and anchored there. When they had come out of the boat, immediately the people recognized him, ran through the whole surrounding region, and began to carry about on beds those who were sick to wherever they heard he was. Wherever he entered, into villages, cities, or the country, they laid the sick in the marketplaces and begged him that they might just touch the hem of his garment, and as many as touched him were made well." And as many as touched him were made well. And that's from that woman saying if she could only touch the hem of his garment. So her little act of faith affected other people. And then there was one more thing I wanted to show you right here in Acts 5. It says that and believers were increasingly added to the Lord, multitudes of both men and women, so that they brought the sick out into the streets and laid them on beds and couches, that at least the shadow of Peter passing by might fall on some of them. Also a multitude gathered around the surrounding cities to Jerusalem, bringing sick people and those who were tormented by unclean spirits, and they were all healed. So from that one act of faith of that woman, you can see the results of what happened. People had faith that just touching Christ's hem of his garment would heal them, and then it grew into just the shadow of Peter falling on them, they would be healed. And that's it. That's what I wanted to share with you. So I wanted to encourage you that whatever you're going through, just know that your faith that you have it will be affecting others around you as God works through the situation. And I want you to remember that Christ has said, all things work together for good to those that love God and to those who are called according to his purpose. So, and just remember, God is in control, and pray about everything, and have faith that he will work all things out for our good. All right, well, thank you.